Good evening, Ms. Benson. It's very good to have you to take the time for me to interview you. Here in Youth Connection Ministry Traveling Team, we wanted to provide you, to help you, to empower you to take the step of faith. And this traveling team, what we provide is to help you to network and get you connected, to get you to used to being in a platform. And I know you're taking that faith for me to allow myself as a president and the leader in the ministry for you, for you to help yourself, to guide yourself through the step in the ministry. How you been doing?
I've been very well. I've been praying a lot, and I've also been studying the Bible in preparation for this upcoming conference.
One of your things I just want to share with you the introduction with your connection ministry. That way you know the background, what we believe, our vision, or what we want to encourage those that join the ministry. As you know, that your connection, it started off with just a tech ministry back in 2009. I met you in 2011, and I was sending you daily Bible scriptures every day. Then later we jumped into our youth conference in 2012 in Donna, Texas. That's when we started growing, and I started learning myself in the ministry. Then later in 2013 or 14, we have other members like Say Pacheco, Jermaine Brown, other people that helped me, Sophia. Then Isabel Lopez came in and she started prayer team ministry. Now, you're here today because I chose you to speak at the Connect conference in April. And I know that the interview of what to help the pastors that are watching, to give them a little introduction to who you are as a person, where you're from, or what church you're attending, where you're serving as well.
All right. Should I start at the very beginning?
Yes.
I first joined the church when I was 3 years old. It was Harvest Church. It was on Frontage and 29th Street in McAllen, Texas. I was with that church up until I was maybe 15 years old. That was a church in which I had my baptism when I was 13. And the reason that my baptism was at 13 was because it was at that age that I felt competent enough to understand what it meant to live for Christ. And from then on, which was 8 years ago, that's when I started becoming more involved in ministry. I was more involved in mission trips to Mexico, especially around the border towns of Reynosa and Progreso specifically. Also with some work in Monterrey, Mexico. And then I also was, even though Jared was doing the text ministry, anytime I received a text, I would also share some text with my friends as well. I was very inspired by Jared when I actually met him in 2011, 2012?
2011.
2011.
October 6th.
October 6th. That's when I was inspired. And it was actually 2 years prior, I was already working with the serving team at TFC, the family church in McAllen. I was working with the youth, the kids, and also the infant ministry. I started off with the infant ministry. They did run a background check on me and also my mother. Both of us were in the ministry. We were the infant ministry, and then when the church was reconsolidated into one entire building, there was a time when the family church held Spanish and English services at the same time, but in separate buildings. Now they're in the same building at separate times. When that move happened, I moved on to the kids ministry, and I was an audio and video technician. I was there when the band would practice to go over how we would do for the audio and sounds. And I remember one of the most noteworthy points when I was serving in that ministry is that it doesn't, because I've seen a lot of preachers and I was actually in charge of their audio, I realized that each preacher has their own way to speak, but in the end, it's God's word that's speaking.
Can you share with the pastors and the leaders, because nobody that when we see new people if they never met before, a lot of times how I feel about when I have you speak in my Connect conference, because I've seen you grow for 6 years, and I know we've gone through a lot of battles and obstacles, and I want you to share with the viewers though, what really encouraged you to join Youth Connection Ministry. We've been with ministry for almost, it's going to be 6 years in February.
The reason I joined Youth Connection specifically was that I saw that Jared was moving in unconventional ways. God is not a God who lives inside of a building on Sunday mornings. He is a God of the everywhere, of every day, every time, every hour. And I saw how he was helping baby Christians and grown Christians alike to maintain their walk through God throughout the day, throughout the week, by his daily Bible scriptures. I would have friends who were also receiving from Jared's text ministry back in the day, that they would tell me, oh, it's so great, I wake up in the morning, this is what I receive. And then they, in turn, would be inspired and pushed. They would be fueled to continue to read their Bible, to have that interest, to have that hunger awoken, to feel it all throughout the week. And it was also, and I actually jumped more on board with the Youth 101's weekly videos, because I saw that there was a pool with actually Jared who noticed about the Facebook, how a lot of teens are spending a lot of their time on that platform. And if we were on that platform, it's a tool that can be used for good or bad, and we wanted to use it to have God use that platform to help bless others. And I was very excited because of my background in audio and video.
Mm-hmm.
It was my forte, because I wanted to let God use my talents to bring him into the world and to help nurture others with his work.
Can you share with the pastors, how they can know, how well are you in the Bible? I know we've seen you in a recent Youth 101 video. Share what your experience. I remember our first Youth 101 video back on, I believe, it was January 16 at the McDonald's, and how much that really helped you grow for the past 3 years you've been in the video ministry.
Well, I did have a different background. I had more of a background when I would preach more, to the lay person, maybe one-on-one or to groups, in small groups. And I also had a background when I would speak maybe to auditoriums, but it was more for engineering background. I even have a video of that if you would like to see it. It's on LinkedIn. Just look me up at Adriana J Benson. I'll be one of the first ones to pop up. I'll be the one that has EMTP on her designation. That means paramedic. And you'll be able to see a video which I did for a presentation for UTRGV's graduating class. That aside, I did not have experience preaching to youth directly as a full center course. I was mostly just on the sidelines, but I did have a lot of experience of watching my youth pastors. One of my biggest role models is actually Bill McDonald. Right now he's actually in Alamo, Texas. He was my mentor for a very long time, as well as Pastor Cash, Sister Cash.
Catalina?
No, Kach. She was from
Okay.
Harvest Church. She's now a very elderly woman.
Well, yes, and I just want to let all the pastors know and leaders know what is the expectation of Youth Connection Ministry, what we want for individual members that join the ministry. Yes, we have our members that join this ministry for long term, short term, but they feel that's not their calling. And you, Adriana, you have a really good, background in ministry because you've been in Youth Connection. I remember you first went to the Lettering Youth Conference 2014. You helped out a little bit in the Youth Connection team. Then you joined 2015. And of all your experience, though, you've been with me for already close to over 3 years, though. What's been one of the highlights what you learned in this ministry?
I think one of the biggest highlights is seeing the volunteers grow. And actually, you see people who come to the conferences, they're guests of other of some regular church goers. They say, "Hey, come on to this conference. It's going to be pretty cool." And you get these people who you see for the first time. And they get to accept Jesus Christ as their first experience. It was one of their first interactions of having maybe gone to a church regularly, and then you get to see them again, but now they're regular churchgoers, or you see how they were. You get to see how they're evolving. Some of our own followers who are from part of the Connect conference, and I think some of our own volunteers, we see how they grow, especially those on our serving team. We see how the way that they give is because they're allowing to open that channel with God, or they're letting God move through him, and it's just so amazing how we're just all the different, we're the hands and feet of God's work.
Amen. One of the things that I train Levy Nabana and Wamakado when we go out there to speaking engagement, prayer team, and helping them to develop, a way to get connected to the youth. And I know, Adriana, you have a lot of experiences with, youth group. I know with your story and your life experiences, though. So, what would you share with the pastor, when they invite you to speak, to the youth group or youth events, though? What they expect from you, though? Like, who is Adriana Benson, though? What do I want to invite her? Like, what would you share with them? I'm sorry, did you understand my question?
Yes, I did. It's not exactly what I can expect to share with them. I spend a lot of time in meditation and prayer with God, and maybe it's usually up to the week or even the month leading up to a speaking engagement. It's when when the Lord shows me things and he shows me, this is what I need you to speak about, or this is a point I need you to make. And I write it down in a special journal I have. You may have actually seen me reference it in the Youth 101 videos. And then I look back on that the week before this speaking engagement. And then again, I reconnect with God and ask him, Lord, what do you want me to speak? Because it's not my words. However, what they can expect of me as a tool of God is for me to, as a speaker, I know that I sometimes am very eloquent, but do expect me to also be relatable to these teenagers.
A lot
of my own struggles, they may be too specific. I always follow up with examples. Sometimes I go with more general examples, or I go with more specific examples. A specific example would be maybe feeling betrayed, and maybe giving an example such as I love giving examples because it helps people understand general concepts. Maybe using a specific one, because Jesus always spoke in parables, and it always helped the crowds, unlike what the Pharisees would do.
Yeah, and a lot of the pastors, when they ask me questions about Wamakado and Levy Nabana, one of the questions they asked me, I wanted to address this to you, Adriana. Mm-hmm. Like, they always tell me, if Wamakado, Leslie, do they have a home church? Do they have a covering? Or they submit it to a pastor, or they're serving? And I wanted to share with the pastor, anybody watching the video, are you currently attending a church right now, or are you currently involved in ministry? What are you doing right now in today's present time?
Today's present time, I attend the family church, the one in McAllen, of course. And I do have a contact person. She was the person who was in charge of me, and the person who oversaw the background check when I was with the youth and the baby ministry.
Mm-hmm.
Her name is Rhoda. I can give you the contact information. Will be on file.
Yeah, and I am going to make a portfolio, a file. I did the same thing with all other people in the ministry. Or basically, let's say if I'm sick or out of town, mm-hmm. and I'm not able to speak, then I'll call a phone call. I'm not able to speak. I'll send Adriana to speak, though. That's when they can go ahead and see information that they'll bring you to that specific event.
That's only fair.
Yeah, because in my story with the traveling team, a very small group compared to the video ministry and prayer team. Because the Youth Connection team, traveling team, we're very conscious. Because as you know, in the past, we have a member, what happened. That because it's very, precious and valuable in the traveling team. What I want to tell all the pastors and the viewers in Washington, why do I have Adriana Benson to speak in the Connect conference? Why, she's with me because I feel a lot of quality in you. And you have a story and you have a purpose. And I believe that your story and your purpose can really help the teenagers, what they went through, what you went through, what your life experience, though. So maybe I'll give you one question, though. What do you see yourself doing in the next 5, 10 years in ministry?
In ministry, I would actually like to open up a separate ministry on my own, and it would be a homeless ministry. And it would be a Christian organization helping people who have been down on their luck, people for whatever reason, helping them make them again functional, and where they can produce again, and where they have a place to sleep. Because sadly enough, the Salvation Army or homeless shelters, you can't stay there longer than maybe half a week. It's not a permanent solution. Because the only solution to anything is God, is Jesus Christ. And once we introduce that, that's when we'll be able to see solutions. That's when we'll be able to see change in these people's lives.
So do you feel that your connection giving you the tools that you need to what you need for the future reference?
Yes. Also, in the next 10 years, I also do plan to keep my relationship with Youth 101, because there was a prophecy when I was 15 years old that I would be ministering to the Islamic nation. And I have seen that these Youth 101 videos are actually getting hits in the Saudi Arabian region as well. I'm seeing that it's growing. We are trying to learn how to translate in order to make this more accessible, because it is our goal to spread the message to everyone, not just about Jesus' life and coming, but also to live a life with Christ, because it's not just about it. It's accepting the Lord as your Savior, is accepting Him as your shepherd, and then it's following your life with Him. And that's what I feel the Youth Connection does. That it connects you with God. It gives youth the opportunity to continue on their journey with God.
And I just want all the pastors and viewers to know that you got a really great promotion in Youth Connection Ministry. Now you are now the head executive director who oversees all the teams of 7 group in the ministry. I know Sylvia is the vice president, and I know that you may take over. If Sylvia to move on to Austin, Texas, and you are going to take a step of faith, taking on the executive leader role. Are you prepared for that, or are you ready to take that challenge?
I remember you offered me the position maybe 3 years ago, and I did tell you, Jared, let me get more prepared before I take on that responsibility. Now that it's been 3 years later, I've been preparing. I know that it's coming up soon. I'm ready to take it on. The same thing with speaking at this conference. You offered this 2 years ago, and I did tell you, Jared, I want to grow more. I want to get more. I want to improve my connection with God, where I can be certain that the world does not speak through me, but only His word speaks to me, because I understand that if I am on the stage, when I'm behind a pulpit, people are listening to what I'm saying. Well, I need to be very careful what I say. I do not want to indoctrinate them with something that is incorrect, something that is not of the Bible. So I have to be very certain that what I'm basing myself on is only God and God alone.
Yeah, and we did mention that when a pastor or someone want to contact you, there will be an email available, and there will and we do have reference, and we do have different personal information in the application. So we want you to make sure that you're proceed. The Bible says that God is God of order. Mm-hmm. We got to make sure we have everything by excellence. It cannot be a stumbling block. This is why we have an interview for you, also for the pastors or leaders out there. We want to make sure that you have a sincere heart. You're very firm with your walk with God, and yes, your relationship as well, and of course, the relationship you're with the guy. He's also a man of God. He's saved as well, and I'm sure you guys are encouraging each other of your journey, correct?
Yes, my my boyfriend, he is also very active in the church. He is not with me in right now. He's actually in Wyoming right now. However, we do encourage each other. In fact, I remember that the last time we were actually talking about the book of Ecclesiastes, is actually my favorite book in the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
And we find comfort in that, knowing that we have the Lord. It's a very important basis of our relationship.
You know, in conclusion of the interview, I strongly believe that the Lord going to use you. This is just a stepping stone for you to go out there. And I know that I want the pastors, the leaders, to know about your schedule.
Yes.
I know that you're currently doing a lot of nursing school and you're busy in the weekdays. And I know that a lot of times when pastors call, that Juan or Leslie, we understand that they work their own schedule. They have over a music school with you and Christina. What kind of schedule can you share with them that way, to accommodate their schedule?
My schedule will be updated on the file as it changes. However, for now, until the mid-March, for now, because my nursing school goes by 8-week sections, I will be having class Tuesdays and Thursdays in the morning, and on Friday afternoons from 2 to 5 o'clock I will be unavailable, as well as Saturdays from all the morning, and I won't be available until the evening on Saturdays. So I will be available on Mondays and Wednesdays and part of Fridays. Sundays as well, but that is the day I would like to receive word from God. If not, if there is a speaking engagement on Sunday, my church, the family church, has Saturday service, so I would just attend the Saturday service at the family church.
One of the things that, I've been teaching Les and Abana, and one, I go by steps.
Mm-hmm.
So I go by, in step one, how a baby crawls. We can't crawl before we run because I don't give them a whole plate. I give them a little bit of piece of the formula, how baby eat a formula.
Exactly, you can't give them more than what they
I know
can chew.
a lot of times pastors are so surprised when they see my poster connect comment. I'm like, wait a minute, who's that person? Like, like that's what happened with the pastor